Welcome to Unit 3.1 on cell structure and function in this course on cells. I'm Wendy Nofke, one of your presenters today, and I'm going to start giving you an overview of what some of the more common cell structures are. Just a little bit of history to get started. In 1665, the British scientist Robert Hooke used cells to describe his units of life under a microscope. Another important person involved with microscopy was Anton van Leeuwenhoek, who made microscope lenses. He actually created the first microscope, which is what today we would call a magnifying glass, but he did have an amazing ability to be able to enlarge the cells quite a bit and see things underneath. He actually described what he saw under the microscope as beasties. The work of Theodor Schwann, Matthias Jacob Schleiden, and Rudolf Virchow led to information that we use to come up with the cell theory, which states that all organisms are made from cells, all life occurs within cells, and all cells come from already existing cells. Cells are actually pretty diverse. The size of cells can vary quite a bit, but most are too small to see with the naked eye. The largest human cell is the human egg, and that cell is said to be large enough that it can just barely be seen with the naked eye. But it is small enough that you would have to know it's there and know what you're looking for. The larger the cell, the smaller the ratio of the surface area to volume. This is important because this is how nutrients come in and out of the cell. So if it doesn't have enough membrane area, it's not going to be able to take in enough nutrients to feed all of its contents. It's also going to need that membrane area to be able to eliminate waste. So rather than having cells get larger, we create more cells instead. If you look at a bigger organism, it isn't that they're going to have bigger cells, they're going to have more cells. And then there's a variety of cell shapes, and usually the cell will have a variety of shapes that are going to be associated with being able to do its job properly. There are some parts that are common to all cells. All cells are going to have a plasma membrane or a cell membrane that's going to create a physical boundary between the cell and the outside world. An example of what this membrane looks like is seen down in the graphic at the bottom of this slide. The cytoplasm is going to be the cellular material inside of the cell. And it's going to include the cytosol, which is the liquid portion, and other cellular structures. The ribosomes are going to be structures where proteins are made. And then you're going to have the DNA, which is the genetic instructions. So these things are present in all cells. We have two main types of cells, the prokaryotic cells and the eukaryotic cells. What's going to set these cells apart largely is the presence of a nucleus. The nucleus is a membrane-bound structure that's going to contain your DNA. This is found only in prokaryotes, this is found only in eukaryotes and not prokaryotes. The prokaryotic cells do not have a nucleus, and this is going to include your bacteria and archaea. The eukaryotic cells are going to contain a nucleus. These tend to be larger than the prokaryotes, and they're also going to have organelles. The organelles are just specialized structures within the cells. If you look to the pictures to the right, the top picture is showing a prokaryotic cell, and then the bottom picture is showing a eukaryotic cell. They do appear to be the same size on this screen, but these are not to scale. The eukaryotic cell is going to be significantly larger. Viruses are quite a bit different. These are not considered to be alive. Basically, they are going to be some genetic material with a protein coat over the outside. They lack all of the normal cell components, so they cannot reproduce by themselves. Instead, when they want to reproduce, they have to go into a host cell and hijack the host cell machinery in order to make copies of themselves.